Good morning. So I've decided I'm going to change my trade management strategy on futures. Um, if you look at the price action from yesterday, this was pretty nasty for a lot of folks, unless they started using reversion. I did use some reversion in here. I did manage to be up on the day, but I've decided that on futures trading that probably using DCA other than very selectively, uh, uh, which I'm not going to be good enough at, or using Martingale. Again, it's problematic. Um, I think I think what I'm going to do instead of managing my trades that way is switch to a single contract per trade, which is very high amount of risk, but limit myself to no more than 2 losses per day before I lock myself out. So what I'm going to do is be a little bit more selective about the trades that I take. And I can have one loss, but then if I get to the point where I have a second loss, I'm out for the day. I'm just done. And I think that's a better strategy, because trading depends on two things. It depends on the mind of the person doing the trading and the experience of the person doing the trading, which sometimes can falter or sometimes not is good enough for the market conditions, and it depends on the market conditions. So, like yesterday, for example, let me squeeze this a little bit. I took a short here, thought that it was going to come back up to here to short, but I ended up shorting in here, getting out, shorting, getting out. When it went higher than here, I switched to long bias, because what I really expected to have happen was some sort of a spike in channel. I expected this to go down and this to hold and maybe channel down for a while and then come down here. And instead, it was more of a, hey, we're going to be in a range day, and it decided to range like this, which is pretty hard to predict. But like I said, after this green candle here, I started looking for long entries and sort of survived that way. But it was just really wildly choppy in here. So I think if I had not used Martingale, I wouldn't have made a profit, but I shouldn't have, because it probably came pretty close to blowing the account up doing that. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to switch to something that hopefully will encourage me to make fewer trades, be more selective, and after I take a second loss for the day, I'm just done. So we'll see how that goes. It's hard to say, looking at this chart, which trades would have been the most obvious ones to take. This one here, let's see. No. Yeah, see, there wasn't a whole lot. The relative volume wasn't telling me a lot. Maybe taking a long here and getting out on a spike, but just the choppiness of this day overall would have meant that anything that you took would have to be quick and temporary. You couldn't really afford to stay into anything for very long. None of the signals were that solid. I don't know, maybe in here, seeing the fact that it consolidated and then went down on that bar, but again, the volume wasn't really there. Maybe here. Yeah, it's tough. I kind of do like this double bottom down here. This actually was a little bit more obvious, and I wish I would have taken this. But I had already been done for the day at that point. But when you look at the overall price action, to see this and to see the double bottom here, it's tough, because where's your stop going to be? Is it going to be under this low? This has been really choppy. It could very easily spike down and take it out and then go up here. I don't know. Instead, maybe waiting for this bar and then taking it on here, but then you've given up an awful lot of the run. You could have taken this as a scalp. Maybe taken this second move in here. It's I don't know. The size of the bars, they're just, yeah, there was a lot of overlap. They're real large. It was not easy to trade this at all. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change my strategy. Like I said, I'm just gonna take single contract. This is a practice account. If it turns out that a single is too much, then I'll switch back to micro and do 5 micros. I'll cut it in half. It's not that big a deal if I blow this up, obviously. This is more, I want to get to the point with this practice account before I spend another reset on a real combine again. I want to get to the point where I can just, a week goes by and, oh, look, I've cleared what would be necessary. I've cleared the amount that I would need to make on the combine, something like that, because I really don't want to take another combine and have it take a whole month and then pay for it's too much. I want it to be a little faster than that, but I don't want to blow up my account that often using some of these other techniques. So like I said, I'm going to stick to single trade size and get out of the market for the day when I lose the second time. Just assuming that whatever it is, that the market's really hard to read or it's really hard to trade that day, and hopefully that'll help me avoid stuff like this tearing me up too much. It does mean that I'm going to have red days. I'm not going to have, a lot of green days and then suddenly blow up the account, which is what I sort of have been doing. So it does mean that, yeah, I'm going to have red days, but I'll have green days. And because I'll be trading a little larger in size and staying in the whole time, as long as I'm not losing too many trades, I may have bigger green days because of it. So we'll see how this plays out, and I'll talk to you again later. Thanks.